This conference will now be recorded.
Perfect. So I just want to give introduction about myself. I think many of you are my old students and you have learned already from me Power BI and MSBA. So myself, it's Ram. I have around 10 years of work experience and 6 years of training experience, and I'm doing my own projects and freelancing and job supports on the technologies of SQL Server, MSBA, Power BI, and Azure Data Engineer. So many of the people are confusing what is Azure BI and what is Azure Data Engineer. Azure BI versus Data Engineer. So Azure BI and Data Engineer both are same, but a Data Engineer included some more services. Azure BI having limited number of services, Azure Data Engineer having some more services. And Microsoft is not having any name with the Azure BI. So that Azure BI is the name for the course we prepared. As per the requirement, we prepared this Azure BI. But Microsoft is telling there is a Azure Data Engineer. So who is a data engineer? Data engineer means anyone managing the data, processing the data, managing, processing. While processing the data, he can perform some kind of cleaning, mashing, and transforming. I told very clearly in the starting. So while transforming the data as per the business requirement. And finally, loading that data into a destination. Yes, it's a kind of ETL engineer. We can say it is a ETL engineer also. The role of the Azure data engineer is by using the tools or the services, available inside the Microsoft Azure cloud, he has to perform data cleaning. He has to make sure the data is ready for the reporting. He has to make sure data is in a proper way to do the analysis. So if you want to perform any kind of reporting and analysis or visualization, the data should be in a clear format. So who will take care of this data processing, and the data should be in a clear format? That is Azure Data Engineer. So nowadays the data is very important. But the data is not in our expected format. So you have to make sure the data is in expected format as per the business requirement. So all these responsibilities will be taken care by the data engineer. Okay, so a data engineer is a key role in the reporting and data warehousing projects, because without a data in well formatted, the report developer or the business users, no one can do anything over here. So that is the reason this is having very good market currently. when I saw so many interviews and job openings, they are expecting this Azure Data Engineer. Azure Data Engineer. In this Azure Data Engineer, primarily they are expecting Azure Data Factory. Azure Data Factory, that is a complete ETL tool, and Azure Data Lake, that is a complete big data storage, and Azure Databricks. This is another Spark, PySpark, okay, PySpark cluster-based data processing engine, and Azure live streaming analytics, and Azure Cosmos DB, Azure Cosmos DB, and Azure SQL Synapse Analytics, Azure Synapse Analytics, and Azure Analysis Services. Nothing but in MSBA we have a component SSEAS. Okay, so along with this combination, they are expecting some part of Power BI. So Power BI is a front-end tool to design the reports. So Azure Data Engineer, what he will do, by using all these tools, he can manage and he can store and he can process the data. And by using Power BI, you are trying to connect to the whatever the data stored and cleaned and managed in your Azure, then Power BI is going to connect to that particular data and designing the visualization. So that Azure Data Engineer role is, so basically what he will do, he is trying to connect to the different storage systems available, and he is trying to get the data, and whatever the data is getting, that he can go and manage inside the cloud environment. So what your Power BI will do, your Power BI is going to connect to the data whatever is stored over here. So the data is available in different source systems. The data is available in the different source system. What the data engineer will do, a data engineer will connect to all these different source systems and he will perform the data loading over here. He will try to extract, transform and loading. So while he is performing this ETL, and the data will come over here. So before he is going to store the data over here, that data should be well formatted. So based on the kind of data, whether it is a structured data or unstructured data or semi-structured data, he is going to use different kind of services over here. Okay, so a data engineer is completely working on data managing, data storing and data processing. So once the data is ready, then Power BI developer is going to take this data and he will consume that data into his reporting. So that's the reason currently the companies are expecting two, when you have a Power BI skill and when you have a Azure skill, then it's very hard kick right now. And also as per the recent survey, in coming in years, Azure Data Engineer the highest paid job. Of course, he is a data scientist also. Azure Data Engineer become a data scientist also. A data scientist means it's not one tool or it's not one service. It's a mix of a bundle of the services. It includes the data engineering, because if you want to become a data scientist, you should be a data engineer as well. You should be a report designer as well. You should know all these skills. Okay, so that's the reason if you want to become just a Power BI developer, then you are learning Power BI. You just understand how many chances you have. If you want to become a Azure data engineer, yes, definitely this has a good market. But if you have these two combination, Azure data engineer as well a Power BI, because nowadays everything is moving to the cloud environment. Everything is moving to the cloud environment. So majorly there are three different kind of vendors of the companies providing these cloud environments. Those are Microsoft Azure, and the second one is Amazon Web Services. The next one is Google Cloud Provider. In the simple terminologies, we are calling this as a GCP. This is GCP, and this one is AWS. This is simply we are calling Azure. So currently these three are having good market. So why we are preferring Azure is, so we are from the Microsoft family. We are always keen on learning about the Microsoft technologies only. Power BI is a Microsoft technology. So definitely we are preferring the backend data related services, anything from the Microsoft only. So Microsoft Azure is the best cloud provider currently, giving many number of services. So the earlier Amazon Web Services have the place one providing this cloud services, but now Microsoft is going to overcome this AWS. So Azure, Microsoft Azure introducing a lot of services, near to 200 plus services with a minimal cost and a better performance comparing with the Amazon Web Services. So that is the reason most of the clients, Microsoft have a lot of clients, and they are migrating from on-premises to cloud environment. So that's the reason we have a lot of demand for Azure Data Engineer. What is on-premises and what is cloud environment? So if you remember earlier days, when you are going to set up any organization, what you have to do, you have to take care about everything like a networking and infrastructure. The first infrastructure is very important for your company. So this is my building. Inside the building I have 4 cubicles and 4 computers and 4 CPUs and hardware and memory, and in between each I need a network over here, and in between a security is required. Okay, a security network, a memory, hard disk, all these things are required. Okay, security network, memory, all these things. So if you want to set up these kind of infrastructure over here, what are all the pitfalls over here? You need some initial capital investment. That is the one thing. Yeah, definitely you need to purchase all these things when you are going to start your company. Am I right? And the second thing is, let's say for example, at the starting of this project, I am going to do a small startup project. In the starting of the days, when you are going to perform, let's say for example, simple project, a SQL Server database and reporting. So I thought it's just for 2 months project I want to implement. Then after 2 months, I don't want this project. So what are all the services, softwares you need to purchase is, I need a SQL Server, I need some memory for that one. Let's say, for example, I thought it's 500 GB is enough. But after 1 month, the 500 GB of the space is occupied because I didn't expect this much of the size of the data we are getting. Then you need to upgrade your memory. Just imagine to upgrade the memory hard disk space. It's not a small thing in your computers because it should support the size of the memory and the configurations. And also, for example, when you are performing this project, all your operating systems are Windows. But later we want, because of the client requirement, we want to move to Linux. Okay, Linux. Then just again, you just think it, changing the operating system from Windows to Linux, how it is difficult. You need a lot of approvers, and the operating system people has to come, admins, they have to install. A lot of setup you need to do. And also, if you want to install any software, you need to take a lot of permissions from the top level management, and the configuration team has to come. And there are some supporting um, services needs to be installed in your computer. It's a lot of headache process. Majorly two things. Initially, you need to pay the amount to purchase softwares or hardwares or whatever. That is one thing. And second thing is, upgradation is a bit difficult and it's time consuming process. And the third thing is managing of all these things. So three pitfalls over here. One is initial cost. The second thing is upgradation. And the third thing is managing. Initial cost, upgradation, and managing over here. So to overcome all these three issues, how can we overcome these three? I don't have initial budget to purchase the services, to set up this infrastructure. If someone has set up this, and if I'm going and pay just for 2 months rental based, instead of setting up all this infrastructure by putting some investment, if someone already set up and is giving a rent based, a simple example, a restaurant, I want to eat a biryani, then definitely what you will do, are you going to construct a restaurant and you are going to eat in that restaurant? No, someone constructed already a restaurant and you are going over there and you are eating the biryani and you are just paying how much time you are spending and what is the service they provided and what is the item you purchased. You will pay only for that amount, 200 rupees or 300 rupees. Similarly, if you want a particular softwares or the infrastructure, why are you going to purchase all these things and setting up over here? If someone already have this setup and from that you can purchase this one, that is nothing but a cloud environment. So cloud in the sense, services are the infrastructure or the platform, whatever managed and maintained by someone, you can access from their computer to your computer through internet. For example, I need some a backup storage. I want to store some data and I need a SQL server. I need a virtual machine. I need a operating system. So all are existing in someone's computer. I just want to use those services. How much time? 1 hour or 2 hour? Time and quantity. For example, I need 2 hours SQL server, and 2 hours how much you are using you can pay, and based on the service type of the service. Of course, obviously when you are going to the restaurant, the quantity is important, means the item, the service, the quantity, and how much time you are spending. Based on that the bill will be charged. Here also I need a SQL server just for 2 hours, and the SQL server having different performance, right? If you want more performance, then the charges will be more. That's nothing but a quality, you can say. So all these services are managed by Microsoft somewhere in their data centers. So what you will do, you are trying to access from your computer through the internet. So I'm the user, I have a laptop in my organization, I need 4 services, one SQL server, and also in my laptop I have a huge volume of the backup data. Then I want to store this in the cloud. Cloud means some others, physically somewhere there is a servers available. Cloud is nothing but it's not something in moons. Somewhere having a physical setup over here. So who is taking care of all these things? Microsoft. Microsoft is simply selling their services, softwares, or the infrastructure or the platform related products through internet. If you are setting up all these things in your local on-premises computer, in your local computer, that is called on-premises. Without setting up all these things, if you are simply purchasing the services provided by someone through internet, that is called cloud computing. So what are the advantages of this cloud computing? You don't need to pay anything initially. I'm going to use the SQL server. Yes, at the end of 2 months you can. How much time you are using the SQL server, then you just pay for that much time only. And if any upgradations required for this SQL server software, any new versions, editions, automatically Microsoft will taking care of that. And also managing of this SQL server, the performance and downtimes, everything will be taken care by Microsoft only. You no need to worry about this. Then what you have to do? You have to focus only on that development. Just focus on development. Then you need to focus on the administrative parts over here. You don't need to focus on any administration and managing. You don't require IT people to manage this. Only the development team. They will immediately take the service, do the development, give the delivery. That's all. It makes more faster. Also, setting up a service in your local machine cost is more comparing to purchasing a service inside the cloud. 100%. That's the reason many clients are moving their projects, their IT into cloud. A simple example, you have a supermarkets in your area, am I right? Let's say for example Heritage or Walmart, whatever. So if you want to set up a supermarket in your area, what are all the things required? You need an office space, and you have to organize all the products. You need many employees, storekeepers, and all those things. Someone will delivery boys, billing counters, and managers. A lot of things. Setup is required. Infrastructure is required. The same thing Amazon is doing in online. Correct? How this is happening? They don't require any stores. They don't require any infrastructure, but they are delivering the products to your home. You are accessing the products without going somewhere or without setting anything. Automatically products are coming to your home. So Amazon is doing through the cloud, www.amazon.com. They are selling their products. Similarly, Microsoft also selling their softwares and hardwares or whatever the services related to the IT through internet. That is www.azure.com. Azure is a brand. Their business brand. They are selling IT products through this Azure. Heritage is a brand. Big DMart is a brand. Walmart is a brand. And Reliance Fresh is a brand introduced by Reliance company. They are selling all the groceries and vegetables, all those things. Similarly, Microsoft also selling their products over here, services. Then from our computer, if you have internet, that's enough. Your system no need to have Windows 10 operating system. Your system no need to have hundred thousands of the GBs. A simple configuration system. You have internet, you can develop your projects, because that through www.azure.com you can log in. There are plenty of services. You can develop the services. You can develop the projects. You can deliver the projects. Amazon have a warehouse in the back end somewhere. That warehouse contains all the products in one place. Similarly, Microsoft also having data centers. Everything, all the setup will be maintained and managed in that data centers. So from that data centers, you are accessing all the services through internet cloud. That is www.azure.com. So when you are going to a supermarket, they are organizing the items in a proper way, right? Like groceries into one place, and cool drinks into one place, and all cosmetics into another place, and vegetables into some other place. Similarly, Microsoft, or it's a cloud vendors. These are all the cloud vendors: Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services, AWS, Google Service Provider. They also organizing their services into three parts. One is yes, yes, CS. ES means infrastructure related services. Infrastructure related services will be organized into one area. Platform related, platform as a service. Software as a service. This is infrastructure as a service. ES means infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. So infrastructure means it's a hardware, memory, CPU, RAM. These are all covering under the infrastructure. Platform means it's an operating system, and SQL server, these kind of tools all will come under the platform. Softwares means something already developed and you are going to use, like a Gmail, Yahoo Mail, Office 365. These are coming under software as a service. Means you are not going to do any further development, just using the service. Are you going to do anything inside the Gmail? No. Are you going to do anything inside the Office 365? No. You're just using that service, whatever already developed. That is software as a service. SQL Server is not a software as a service. SQL Server is a platform as a service. That is a platform you can develop something. Gmail is not a platform to develop something. So that is the reason those are software as a services. Something there is a platform to develop, that is a platform as a service. Infrastructure means to run your platforms you need an infrastructure. If you want to install SQL Server, you need infrastructure, right? Without infrastructure, there is no SQL Server. So infrastructure related, platform related, software related. Okay. So all these AWS, Microsoft Azure, and GCP, Google Cloud providers, all these are the public cloud vendors. Means anyone can go and purchase the services. Correct? For example, there are supermarkets outside. Anyone can go and if you have a money, if you have a need, you can go and you can purchase, you can pay. But there are some markets like army canteens. Only army people can able to allow that one. Those are private markets. So these Google and Azure and Amazon, these are public cloud vendors. Anyone can go and can purchase. All right. Private means what the companies will do. For example, TCS located in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai. So what the TCS wants to do, they want to set up their internal cloud environment. So all the people from the Bangalore, if they want any services, they can access from one centralized location. This is called private cloud. This is managed by TCS only. This is not a public. This is private only for the TCS company. They have their own data center, and any services required by all the people, they will access this one. They will maintain some URL www.tcscloud.com, something like that. So there is a public cloud vendors, there is a private cloud vendors. So public can be managed by the cloud vendors, whoever is giving services like a Microsoft, Amazon, Google. Private cloud vendors, they will take care about this managing of all their data center. Okay. So inside the cloud environment, they are categorizing the services into three: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. Similarly, how you are organizing the services in your supermarket. And there are public supermarkets and dedicated to only particular area in a gated community, that supermarket only for that particular gated community. Similarly, public cloud vendors, anyone can go and purchase, and private cloud vendors only for that particular company or whoever is managing them. Sometimes companies, what they will do to implement a project, they will take one service from public cloud vendors, one service from private cloud. Based on, there are some certain factors like a cost, data security. Based on these two things, they will choose either it is a public or private. So this is called hybrid. Some services to be taken from the private, some services from the public. That kind of system we are calling as a hybrid cloud. This is a private cloud. This is a public cloud. Organizing the services is called IaaS, PaaS, IaaS. Deployment of your services to develop your project, that is public, private, hybrid. The advantage of the cloud computing is you no need to pay initial cost, initial investment, and you are paying only how much time you are using the services. There is no management headaches, there is no software upgradation headache, and easy to develop, and the development is more faster, and you can access from anywhere. You don't need to go to your office, you can access from anywhere. So these are the advantages. That is the reason clients are not preferring on-premises systems. Okay, we are finally identifying cloud wants to use. But inside the cloud, which one we need to use? Microsoft Azure or AWS or the Google? Obviously, we will go to the Microsoft Azure. Inside the Microsoft Azure, what are all the things we need to learn? I told there are 200 plus services available. There are 200 plus services available inside the Microsoft Azure. But out of 200 services, are we going to learn 200 services? Please keep in mute. Are we going to use 200 plus services? Definitely no. We are not going to use 200 plus services. It is difficult to learn 200 plus services. Then what do you want to learn? We are categorizing here some services related to Microsoft Azure Developer, Microsoft Azure Admin, Microsoft Azure DevOps, Microsoft Azure Data Engineer. So based on your career, earlier experience, or on your interest, which one you need to select? You have to choose Azure Developer. These are mostly people coming from .NET, Java background, developing some applications, web applications or whatever. Azure Data Engineer, formally it is BI. Mostly the people related to data, ETLs, data managing, storage, processing. It's all around the data and reporting. So whoever interested about data and ETLs, reporting, they will come to Azure Data Engineer. Azure Administration. Administration means they will taken care of managing of the all services. Security related, security, managing the services. How the DBAs will work. People who are having the DBA and system admins, those will prefer this one. Azure DevOps is something code management, whatever you developed, right? That these people can deployment, managing the codes, all those things. Okay. So out of these 4 job roles, which one you want to learn? You have to decide. So we are preferring this Azure Data Engineering. As a part of this data engineering, we are going to cover many services over here. What are all the services we are going to cover over here is so we are going to cover Azure storages, means how many ways we can store the data, like a blob storage, table, and some other storages. And Azure SQL. Inside the Azure, what are the different kind of Azure SQL deployments we can do, how we can use that one. And then after Azure SQL data warehousing, nothing but Synapse Analytics. And then after Azure Data Factory, it's a primary thing in this course. It's a primary thing in this course. 40% of the priority we have. Then it is the ETL tool, like your SSIS in your on-premises. SSIS, Informatica, and Azure Data Lake. Big data storage, nothing but Hadoop. And Azure Databricks, nothing but Spark, Scala, something like that. It is a processing of the big data. Azure Live Streaming Data, nothing but Event Hubs, how to stream live data, analytics. And Azure's Cosmos DB is a kind of a document DB, but no SQL DB. This is also very important database. This is nothing but Azure Synapse is nothing but your data warehousing. Analysis service is nothing but SSAS tabular model inside the cloud. And the next one is HD Insight. These are some other services available related to Hadoop. These are all the things we are going to cover. Once we are completing this, you can able to perform the certification DP-200 and 201. If you are completing this course with this certification, then you have many chances to get the job. When I was attending the interviews and when I was looking on the job roles, mostly they are expecting Azure Data Engineering part, even for the Power BI developers. Even Power BI developers, they are expecting this one. And also, we have a this research survey. There are incoming soon this data engineering is the highest paid job. Okay, see here, as per the statistics of the 2020 DICE report, there was a 92% year-over-year growth in the job posting for cloud data engineers. Okay, yeah, any questions?